Hello. Welcome to the stream. Josh, how you doing, mate?
Hi, Jay. I'm good. It's raining and I've been sent home because in the north it floods. So I decided that instead me and you would talk about, well, three topics, really. I've thought of a third. Don't you worry.
Oh,
So
great,
I don't know
mate.
if anyone's, here now. Say hello if you are. But today we're going to be discussing all things Lampard and Chelsea, Jay.
Great.
I'm sure you can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Then we're moving on to the Super League. And I will be keeping this slightly cryptic, but essentially we're going to round off with the fact that in football, Jay, no one is safe. That can tie into Lampard, but we'll see what we mean when we get there.
Interesting. Interesting indeed, mate.
Yeah, no. So there's only one place to start, Jay, and I know you don't want to. But before we do start, I'm just going to quickly cement where I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to bullshit anyone here. I am a Tottenham fan. If Chelsea fans spit and drag Lampard by his hair out of Stamford Bridge, I will chuckle. I'm not denying that, okay? However, I do quite like Jay. He's one of the best Chelsea fans I know, and that might be triggering to people who will not share our opinion. I apologise. But, I also like to think that beyond my hatred bias, I can see reason in this situation. Well, as much reason as there is, because to be honest, I don't think either of us know what the correct thing to do is here.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a point in his argument. Like, we don't really know what to do, but go on.
So we'll break it down, Jay. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll take the lead because I'm sure you've heard it enough and you don't want to be repeating any of these things. Essentially, I think The Athletic wrote that the loss against Leicester had a sense of finality about it. This looks like it's it. You don't think it will be, and I'm sceptical. You think he'll be given a few more games, but really now we're talking on a thread. Lampard's time at Chelsea.
Yeah, so when the full time of the whistle the other day, you can watch my fan cam, you can watch it live. I said goodbye, Frank Lampard, because I know Chelsea, I know the board, I know these results. I've been there. The Mourinho, I think it was against Leicester with Mourinho, the West Brom graveyard that we seem to have. It felt exactly like that. And I said to Josh, and I said to some of my friends, we're gonna wake up and we're gonna see him sacked tomorrow, and it felt horrible. It felt like I said to Josh earlier. I said it's different because when you're so close to when you feel close to Lampard. I don't know him personally, but I feel so close to him. I feel like I know him personally that it feels that little bit worse when this news and all this talk is coming in. But yeah, it feels on a thread now. My thinking would be though as well, like it. As much as it feels on a thread, the next 3 games seem like a good 3 games to give him that little bit extra time, give him that patience. And I know it's Chelsea, and I know we don't normally give people patience, but it is different. It's the legend at the club. It is Frank Lampard, the biggest legend at Chelsea. So it has to be a little bit different.
Okay, cool. So what you're saying is true, and I agree with it. It's been a year, and this morning I posted a picture of Pochettino. I'm still in love with him. So from a Tottenham point of view, we get it. We really do. Let's just take Lampard's name out of this entire conversation and just go through the facts and maybe a bit of the Leicester game.
Yeah.
It's 5 losses in 8, and as much as I can't take a loss away from you, I watched the Fulham game. It was dreadful. Yeah. One thing I will say is the first time I saw the Ndidi goal against Leicester, and I saw a lot of people complain about it, I kind of went, what are you going to... If Ndidi hits it with the outside of his foot and it goes off the post and in, what are you going to do? It's not no one's fault. Then I watched it back. And the fact is, not a single player even bothered to... Indeed, he would have had time to put it onto his strong foot instep. He would have had time to pick out a pass. No one ran to Ndidi. There was him, 10, 15 yards, everyone.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it back, I went, actually, that's not as freaky as I first thought. That's not good. That comes down to mentality, tactics, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it bode well? Putting Lampard's name back into it. So in fact, no, just before that, as well as the Leicester goal, I think it's fair to say, I think one of the biggest problems, especially in this current era where it's faded off slightly, but high press works, especially in the Premier League. We're not doing as much as we were when Pochettino was at full form and Klopp almost won the league but didn't quite with Liverpool, like that full attack. However, watching that Chelsea game, not a single one of your front three defended. I think it was very old school. We're going to try and attack, not very convincingly, and the defenders can defend.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that has to be a tactical thing. So taking Lampard's name out of this, and we've seen the stats about the fact that he's the lowest points of any Chelsea manager. There is all of that. The West Ham are above you. Arsenal could overtake you next weekend. And remember what we were saying about Arsenal. It's all as cold, hard, horrible facts. He should go yesterday. I don't think anyone can deny that.
What, Frank Lampard, you mean?
Yes. But imagine it's not Frank Lampard. Imagine it's AVB.
Okay. Different story. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think yesterday.
I think a lot of you're right, and I think a lot of people are making that point that, you know, like a lot of people, where was this for Sarri? Where was this for Conte? And you know, Di Matteo won us the Champions League and still was sacked. You know what I mean? That is a big question, and it's right. But again, I can't. It's a feeling that you have when it is him. It is Lampard. It's an emotional feeling. And you know what it is? Football is pure emotions, and that's what makes the game beautiful. Football has narratives, it has emotions, it has all this great stuff. And Lampard, being your manager, is an emotion. So when it comes to criticising him, I will criticise him. The Leicester game, he got it completely wrong. But to say that I want him out and to say that I don't want him to see him succeed, which I've seen some Chelsea fans do, which is utterly disgusting, that's where I draw the line. Of course, I'll criticise him, but I'm not going to want him away from my club. But the only thing I want is to see that man lift the trophy with Chelsea.
Any trophy. Could be the Audi Cup at this rate. You take it.
Take it. Just seeing him do this.
No, right. Yeah, and that's where the grey area comes in, Jay. So at the end of the day, a lot of people will be watching this and they'll be Frank Lampard out. And technically, that's okay.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Technically, that's fine. But there can be this middle ground. You can be apologetic. You don't have to be the aggressive ex that's dumping him by like leaving a text saying, you know, we're through. That's not how this has to be. Like,
no.
It's so difficult, but it's so like this argument's been used for Pochettino. This argument's been used for Harry Kane. Harry Kane can leave Tottenham and be guaranteed trophies. Harry Kane knows that if he wins a top trophy with Tottenham, that trophy will be sweeter than any other trophy. And because that's how fans and boyhood clubs, I know people say he's an Arsenal fan, that's how it works when you build a genuine human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Lampard will not see out the season. Of that, I am certain. However, for the rest of your life, Jay, you can hold your head up and say, I supported him till the end.
Yeah.
Everyone else is an Arsenal fan hounding Wenger out of their club after delivering an invincible fucking Premier League.
This is it, man. This is it. Like, I still think the way that Arsenal treated that situation was disgusting, and now it's happening to my club. And listen, there are a lot of loud voices, Lampard out voices, and you made a good point there. You're allowed to be Lampard out. You're allowed to have your opinions. Just go about them in a bit of a better way than a lot of people have been, but also. And treat him and the club with a bit more respect. If that's your opinion, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not a badge of honour, is it? You don't have to puff your chest out and go, fuck Frank Lampard. You can sit there and it is perfectly okay to be a quiet voice going, yeah, I know he should probably go. You know, and that he should probably go, yeah. No, and if you're happy to see him go, that's weird. That's weird.
That's wrong.
Get it?
I mean, like, listen, we had a comment on my fan cam saying I'm happy about the result because I want to see Lampard gone. That is completely wrong. You're not a Chelsea fan. You're not a football fan if that's how you think. I don't understand that.
because I won't go into it now, but we've had this conversation a lot about the intangibles of the journey of football. And to be honest, you wouldn't take back your Premier Leagues, you wouldn't take back your trophies, you wouldn't take back your Europa Champions League, but you'd be willing to have, I think, and this might confuse a lot of Chelsea fans, I think you'd be willing to have the journey that Pochettino took us on with finals and, no trophies. But if Frank could take you on that journey and Chelsea allowed him to take you on that journey, I don't think he will or is capable of doing that. But I think you as a fan, you'd be a bit frustrated, as I was, trust me. Yeah. You'd be happy to watch Frank Lampard take you on this club building journey where you try to reshape your sack manager philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where last season comes into it, and I thought the start of that was happening. You know better than me. I was quite gassed. I was like, Lampard's at the club. We've got these young players. We're growing something. This is a project, and this is something Chelsea, I think, really needs. Yes, it's worked. Scattergunning managers, and it's worked, and I've had very happy times doing that, but we'll run out of managers eventually. We're looking at the teams like City now, like Liverpool, who are becoming extremely successful with a project. They've built it up. City, it came a bit quicker, but even then they had a project they built up. Look at Klopp's.
Well, don't forget that first season, Jay. I mean, I'm not, again, I would, as a caveat, we're not comparing Frank Lampard to Pep Guardiola. However, Pep could have. Pep's first season here was dreadful. Yeah,
exactly. And listen, Klopp inherited a weird team, and he grew it into his own, and then went on. And listen, I'm not saying they comparing these managers because people will get angry about that, but I'm saying like that was a project, and football is about that now. And the Athletic made a comment about. The next manager will be a German speaker, and I think they've said that because they think people like Nagelsmann, like Tuchel, like Hasenhüttl, or these all come from the same school of football right now, and it's this kind of like high press, quite organised football, and it's also like a system, a project, something that needs to be implemented. So it just seems weird to me that they're looking, if they are looking for that, and why just quickly change to something else when you're already committed to making this the start of a journey. We have a very young squad, a lot of potential in the squad, and also Lampard is in the same category. He's a young manager, inexperienced, has potential to become a good manager. We've already mentioned this before. It's unfortunate that he's at Chelsea in this stage of his career. It would have been better if it was later. But now that he's here, go with it. Go with the project. Have some patience. We have the talent to do so. Yes, it's awful right now, and watching that Leicester game was a terrible time. But if you have the patience, you never know what rewards we could have at the end of it.
I mean, look at a completely different style of player. Maybe Havertz is a better call this, but I'll use Werner anyway because Werner's the big elephant in the room with Chelsea. But look at have you seen Declan Rice's interview on Ndombele this season?
No.
Declan Rice has come out and just gone. And every time we go live, I say watching Ndombele, and I'm sure you've now seen him do. We almost got rid of him last season. He was almost sold.
He was on the end.
And that leads me to the final point. I've got 2 more points, and then we will move on.
Just on that point, sorry. I said this in the stream. Didier Drogba had a terrible first season at Chelsea. He is now one of the most iconic strikers in the Premier League. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this will happen. I'm saying it can happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. I saw someone on Twitter call for Drogba to be the manager, but I don't know where that link came from. But,
someone said John Terry as well, which is like he could become a great manager, but he's almost at the same level as Lampard right now. Lampard has more managerial experience.
We'll end on the one thing I did see. Do you see that? There's nothing really to say about this, but Jody Morris liked an Instagram today saying like, I would run through a brick wall for Lampard. These players clearly don't care, and Jody Morris liked it, and you sat there going, no.
Did not see that.
That's a bad sign.
That is.
Secondly, I would say, that's where it's difficult, isn't it? Because Chelsea are now panicking because if you don't get to football's a rat race, and the reason Chelsea will pull the trigger is because they're Chelsea, and they've sat down the girlfriend and go, I know I've cheated, but I'm going to be better. I'm going to go and get some flowers. We're going to go for a nice dinner. It's going to be great. We're going to have a family. And everyone's gone, he's changed. He's been changed. Get in there. And then we've come back 3 weeks down the line, and there's some knickers on the floor. And they're not hurt. She's like, those aren't my knickers. And Chelsea are like, what? Yeah, they are. Of course they are.
They're yours.
And and if you don't get top four, you might not get Haaland. You might then fall down again. So it's reactionary. It's difficult. But the reality is, Chelsea are not going to get relegated, no matter what. I could probably go and step in the dugout, and Chelsea would not get relegated. Sheffield United, Newcastle, these clubs still exist.
They're still a thing.
So yes, it won't happen because Chelsea won't think like that. But this project, we'll never know. We will never know what this project could have been. The only thing I will finish on is saying that where my sympathy slightly falls down for Lampard, and I've got it in big letters here, Lampard knew. When he walked into that job, he knew that if it didn't go well, he's seen in his successful spell at Chelsea, he has seen manager after manager win Champions League. Like you said, win Champions League and go. Third place, gone. Even when not at the club, he'll have seen Sarri gone. Yeah.
But he knew, absolutely. But you know what? He speaks so well. He says this. He says, I am at a big club. I have pressure on my head. I want to do well. He says all this. It's like, I think some people think he's ignorant to the fact that like he's probably a bit out of his depth. I don't think he is, but he knows the challenge ahead of him.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's it. Our point is, you mouthing off on Twitter is not going to really sway anyone. I'm not talking to you, Jay. I'm talking to you guys. You having to go on Twitter, just hold your head up high. And if he goes, he'll go whether you're tweeting Lampard out or you're tweeting Lampard in. And just trust me, as a football fan, the journey and the emotions of just being able to hold your head up high and say, that man is a legend and I support him, it's a better experience to be that kind of football fan. I know that's me telling you how to support, and that's a bad thing to do.
No, yeah, and also on a similar kind of note, before we wrap this topic up, I'm 1,000% sure that if fans were at the ground, the fans in the ground wouldn't be turning nasty at Frank Lampard. They could not go nasty. They'd still be singing his name. Absolutely, I've got no doubt in my mind about that.
Oh, mate. Pochettino's last game against Sheffield where we lost, and that was away, but still pictures of that. You'll have seen it, that Argentinian banner of Poch, and he's got his arms out like that. Oh, that's what football's about, guys.
That's what football's about. Just before we move on to the next topic, which will be some more footballing news, there's been a couple of comments I just wanted to acknowledge. Joe Callis said something. I said, reports that he has the next 3 games. Yes, that we've got Luton, Burnley, Wolves. I think all 3 of those games probably need to be wins if he wants to keep his job, Luton especially. And of course, we'll go into that a bit more detail.
Not Luton especially.
I mean, if we lose to Luton...
He's got to win the Premier League. I know it'd be embarrassing, but...
Yeah. But and also the FA Cup is a huge tournament to get silverware, to keep, the momentum, the winning mentality, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the next 3 games are important. And at the end of that is Spurs, which is horrible. Alfie said, our players look like they don't want to play. Mount seems the only player that's interested in fighting for Lampard. This is something you raised earlier. I find this one quite hard to believe. I mean, yes, Mount looks like one of the only ones that he looks to fight, but there's a lot of young lads there, like Reece James, like Mason Mount, like Gilmore, if he got more minutes. They will fight for Lampard. I just think that the confidence is more of an issue than fight. I think the mental confidence that these lads are going in these games with is just terrible. And it's up to Lampard to get them out of that. Absolutely. Lampard should be, getting them hyped up in the changing room. So I don't think it's that they don't want to play for him. He's the club legend. And a lot of these lads have come through the academy. They probably watched him play and stuff. Yusuf is in the chat. Welcome back, Yusuf. Yusuf said, hello. It's really sad that we're undergoing these tough times. Sometimes the love of the team is above the love of a loyal player. That's a fair point. It absolutely is.
It is a massively fair point, Yusuf. It's something that I think that there is the love of the team, but as a football fan, if you love the team, sometimes you start to love a multi-billion-pound corporation owned by an investment company in the case of Tottenham, owned by a Russian oligarch in the case of Chelsea. not slagging them off. I'm just sometimes just the love of the team takes away what makes football. And for me, that is why I will love Tottenham long after Harry Kane and Son and Alderweireld and Lloris go. But I will then focus on a big new batch of players to fully get on board with. And I think that's important in any club. Yeah. Obviously, the badge comes first. But in order to get human connection, there is no more human connection than, Lampard's an all right guy. He seems all right. Jay knows John Terry was a bit of a scumbag.
Everyone knows that. Not just me. Everyone knows that. also, Lampard wants what's best for the team. Ultimately, he's a Chelsea. He said this in his last interview. It was heartbreaking. He's like, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a Chelsea man. I want what's best for Chelsea. Just quickly, the Blue Podcast, Lampard in at least to the end of the season.
That's a good shout.
And Alfie, just to go ahead on his last point, he said, the last few games, Mount was the only one that seemed interested. You're absolutely right. Mount's been the best player in the last couple of games, the only shining light of it. But yeah, it's been rough. We'll move on from that. We're going to move on to a different topic. Thanks for joining us with that one. We're going to be talking about.
Don't
stick around. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, don't leave. The views just drop. No, we're going to talk about the FIFA. The news coming out of FIFA today that they're threatening the Super League with a World Cup ban, which I think is really interesting. So if the Super League were to go ahead, the players within that Super League will be banned from any sort of World Cup. Or I think other continental federations have said the same thing. So this is huge news in the Super League world because on this podcast, we're anti-Super League. Me and Josh really don't want it. Both of our clubs would potentially be in it. And we really don't. You maybe not, but it'd be close. You'd be annoyed if you didn't, but you'd also understand. But
I wouldn't be annoyed, I'd be fucking ecstatic. I'd be a little bit like, all right, fuck you then. It would be a bit like, being. I can't say that. Never mind. Let's move on.
We'll move on. But this is huge because listen, the Super League it threatens to ruin football how we know it. I think, and that might sound a bit gammon almost, but like the way we love and interact with football will be ruined with a Super League. There will be no rivalries between different domestic clubs. There will be no like underdog stories because everyone's a big dog player in this league. It'd just be horrible. What do you think, Josh?
Just before I do say what I think, I thought of the analogy that works. It's slightly less offensive. It's like when you stop someone and you go up to a woman and you're just looking for directions, and the woman is the Super League, and you go, "Sorry, can I just?" And then you go, "I have a boyfriend," and walk away. So part of you's like, "Whoa," but then the other part of you's like, "I didn't want this anyway."
That's a good analogy to be fair.
Yes. No, absolutely not. Football isn't about playing Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and Barcelona and Man United and Juventus every single week. That's boring. It's not fun. No one wants it. There's not really much I'll say. It screams of scary dictatorship. If you do this, you're not doing this. That kind of just in the back of my head makes me go, that's dodgy. But you know what? Fuck it. The Super League is an evil and it must be destroyed at all costs. We have a Champions League, which is based on merit. This is not a Super League. If this goes through, we are the MLS. There will be no relegation. Of course, there'll be no relegation from this league.
Not. Absolutely not.
And like I said, I've already said today, Tottenham will be left behind, and we would spend the next 15 years losing the title to Leicester. And I can't do that. I just can't take that.
It's so funny, and it's so true. And like we said, Everton will still come 7th somehow.
Burnley will just be like above them, and Palace will. I don't know how.
Yeah,
magnetised to 7th.
And you said the Champions League, it's perfect. Like everyone loves the Champions League. The Champions League is the ultimate. It's the elite. You want to fight to be in it. When you're in it, you want to fight to win it. You know what I mean? And with the Super League, you take all that fight and the prestige out of it. You're just automatically a big club in a big league. There's no with Chelsea, we're under threat of not getting top 4 this season. Big threat of that. But it's the fight to get that top 4 every year. That kind of that makes you the big club.
And it's not just that. Football's about so much more than Ronaldo against Messi, isn't it? Obviously,
Yeah.
like we're preaching to the converted. I'm sure
It's about Marine versus Tottenham.
I was literally just about to say it's about Marine versus Tottenham. It's about having to sit in the Europa League and something like, yeah, Tottenham. By the way, you're playing FC Bucharest, and you're like, what? Why? Go and play.
Go.
And you're like, oh god damn it! Like it's about playing fucking, and like it boils down to, you know, Pep and Klopp and people like that being arsey about. I think they used to do it with Sam so much, where they would grumble that Bolton have come to Old Trafford and defended. Fuck off. That's football. I want to see that team defends, and they've got Sam Allardyce chuckling his way on the touchline. That team has Pep Guardiola, and they're going to try and pass you to death. That team has Chelsea, and they're a carcass. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
No, and it like I said, it takes away the underdog story, and also I'm just happy that FIFA are threatening this. It's FIFA putting a bit of a stand, like you said, it's a bit dictatorish, but it's them putting a stand. It's putting their foot down, going, no, this shouldn't happen. This is the consequence of them actions, and I quite like that.
Yeah, it's the lesser of the two evils, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's definitely that, isn't it? I think that's all we really have to say on that matter.
That's pretty much it. We were just basically, I've written here, fuck the Super League. So we
said that. We said that.
Yeah. So the final point I just wanted to discuss, Jay, didn't really have a topic. We could have discussed transfers, but there's nothing happening, is there really? I just want to talk about a little incident from yesterday's game.
Just a great point.
Thank you, pal. A little just yesterday point, and it's about the Chelsea thing, kind of, but it's just about how in football no one is safe. Again, written here, in football no one is safe. I don't know if you watched the City game yesterday, Jay.
I watched the last 20 minutes.
Okay, so in the City game, Bernardo Silva thumped one into top bins, and commentator Adam Summerton commented, "Ilkay Gundogan with a screamer." And it's a bit embarrassing, and that happens. And they're both, you know, white men with beards and tufty brown short hair. And one wears the number 20, one wears the number 8. It's okay, they're not very similar. But, you know, he has had to apologise profusely today. He's had to reply to the Daily Mail, who fans left baffled as commentator makes a mistake. And it's just the toxicity of football, isn't it? It's this game. And that's why it's funny to watch people get their arse over tits over Frank, because Frank's suddenly in of this game. And yes, I know there are jobs at stake, and I know that there are livelihoods at stake, and I know there's millions of pounds involved. But it's a game, and a commentator got someone's name wrong when they scored a goal. Admittedly, he then moved swiftly past it, and he probably should have just said, apologies, that was a mistake. But at the end of the day, I wasn't sat there going, fuck me, Ilkay Gundogan's changed.
Yeah.
I'm convinced to the rest of it. Well, no, he said. It's
Gundogan, mate. I mean, if you want to go a bit more philosophical, mate, that's the world right now. You can't make mistakes, Josh. You'll get cancelled.
So Adam Sullivan has been cancelled. If we want to go massively philosophical, oh my God, I'm not going to bother.
You know what we mean.
You can go there and you can make these points, but also on a much smaller scale, don't buy the Sun. Don't read the Daily Mail.
Yeah, I mean, it's as easy as that, really, isn't
it? Try and alter your Twitter bubble. Don't. It's a line. Don't only follow people that agree with you, because that's unhealthy.
Yeah, that.
Also, don't be afraid to block a few of those far different, radically views that anger you. And it's the same here. I was looking at it. It was a silly mistake. I just felt sorry for the guy. And I personally support Adam Summerton. I think he's a good commentator. Justice for Adam. And just calm down a bit, I guess, is what we're saying. And I think most people that really engage with us, we get a few angry fans. We've had a fucking fair few, haven't we?
Yeah.
We don't care. If someone comes in and tells me I'm shit at football commentary and all of my football knowledge is based on FIFA and
Let it go, Josh. Let it go.
I can't let that go. I'll never let that go. But in reality, I know I'll keep bringing it up. but we don't care.
We just make light of it, and so should you.
Yeah, and I get you can be stressed. It's such a difficult line, but be stressed about the big things. Be stressed about the fact that, City might win the league again, and it's sad. Don't be stressed about the fact that they got the name wrong. I just wanted to bring
That's fair. No, it's fair. It's fair. I like that point. I do really like it. And like you said, you can bring it back around to the Lampard, the main discussion of this video. You can bring it back around, and you can say, if people are making points that are really just piss you off, just block them. We've got a comment here that this we weren't going to talk about this, but hey Jay, what are your thoughts on the news that Tottenham are replacing Dele Alli with Eriksen? Personally, I think it would be foolish. Well, they've asked me, and I don't know.
Hi, I'm a Tottenham fan. Just so we know.
Tottenham
shirt. I'm not Japanese.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a Tottenham fan, and I've got to be honest with you, I'm excited for it. Not if Dele Alli was playing regularly. No, of course I wouldn't be. But you're asking me if you're asking Jay. You're asking me if I would swap a player that's not part of our current manager's plans and replace them with perhaps one of the most technically gifted football players Tottenham Hotspur has ever seen. It's fine. I forgive you. But it's a no-brainer for me. Lo Celso.
My argument would be that you've got a very balanced, nice midfield in Ndombele, Sissoko, and Højbjerg, and Eriksen again might not fit into that unless he's playing rotationally, and he doesn't want to play rotationally. That's why he left in the first place.
Okay, first point. Carabao Cup final, FA Cup run, Premier League, and Europa League.
Yeah. A lot.
Second point is, do I like Lo Celso? Yes. Is Eriksen a far better footballer than Lo Celso? Yes. The man was amazing, and it's one of the things I'm so confused. I don't understand why Conte is letting this happen.
Conte, you know what Conte plays? What's his name? Vidal, right? And he hates playing him, but it works. Like he'll get like a goal and a red card, and like Conte hates it, but it just works. From what I've read, we wouldn't sell. Pochettino wants Dele Alli at PSG. PSG are not going to spend 40 million, 50 million, 60 million on Dele Alli. Apparently, they want to loan Dele Alli with no option to buy. That's perfect. Dele Alli plays football. If we then decide to sell him, he might have put some value onto his name. He might work his way back into the plans. At the moment, where he is now, that will not happen. We get a player back who has... People say, has he lost his fight? Has he lost his drive? Eriksen, even when he said, I want to be gone, never stopped playing for the shirt. He didn't always have the best. He didn't always have the best game, but it was not a player that was down in tools because he wanted to move. And you know what? If I was a footballer that didn't have any, he would have known what Tottenham is, but he had no right to give a fuck about it as to he joined. It's not like he grew up watching Glenn Hoddle, like, soon I will be like. I'm not blaming the man for wanting to earn more money in a league after not winning anything for as long as he did. And I would go and see if the grass is greener. Of course I would. But he's seen it, and it's not. And he's been outcast, and he's turned around. And yes, Tottenham have every right to go, sorry, mate, look at Ndombele. But at the same time, I think it would be an absolutely brilliant move for Tottenham to say, all right, come on back. Yeah, come back.
You might give you a little scamp.
It's Bale-esque, isn't it? Go Madrid, win stuff.
It's different. It's different.
It's different, but it's similar in a way.
Yeah, what we could do with Tottenham could do with someone to dictate tempo, and I think with Eriksen in our squad, it doesn't negate all the issues, but we definitely lose far more. We definitely concede far less goals because we have more control of the game. Because the opponent are not going to score if Eriksen has the ball at his feet. Apart from in the Champions League where he passed it back and they almost scored, but it was offside. But I know it's not a perfect system, but
But Yusuf just has made a good point there, and we'll wrap up really soon after this. But he was the Harry Kane in your team, and now Harry Kane is doing the cam role really effectively, but also a striker role. Put back in Eriksen where he was. Maybe Harry Kane doesn't need to run ragged the whole game.
Eriksen for a very long time, and it's not as effective, but played off the left. And at the moment, I really like Stevie Bergwijn, but he's not doing it.
No. Neither is Bale.
Neither's Bale. Lucas Moura seems surplus to requirement, and Lamela doesn't seem to be playing. So, if you need someone a winger doesn't have to be a traditional winger. Eriksen would probably, he would be more effective off the left than Bale is at the moment. So, yes, we could still have a front three of Eriksen, Son, and Kane, and just because he's on the left doesn't mean he can't drift in the middle. That's modern football.
Yeah, you could kind of play like it could be very fluid. It's fluid's the word, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll end it there. Thanks for that comment, by the way. Get a bit of Eriksen talk, a bit of Spurs talk in this live stream. Listen, this is a bit new. We don't normally do just chatting live stream. So if you really did like it, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Shapat said hello. Just too late, big man. Hello, thanks for joining. Just too late. Go back and watch it. It'll be a video just after we finish this here now. But yeah, thanks for watching. We really appreciate everyone getting involved. I've enjoyed this, Josh.
I had a really nice time. I think I could have done with a beer, not because it's been painful, just because it's been really nice.
Yeah, it's like a nice chat. But yeah, no, thank you everyone. And of course, as always, tell your dads.